Welcome, one and all. This is the Peace Dealer back with another episode of Peace Talk. And this episode is 16. And for those of you who are tuning in new, I do this series to raise awareness of you, spread enlightenment or awaken others through their own life, telling their own story and sharing their own spirituality. This week, we have Mr. CancVirgo, aka Seth. How you doing, man? Did I say that right, by the way? How do you say it, Chad?
Yeah, it's CancVirgo Astrology. Thanks for having me.
Sweet. What inspired that name?
What inspired me to get this started? I guess I kind of just fell into it. I started out really off the map, not really paying attention to astrology. I was more into like ancient civilizations and stuff like that growing up, and then I got into like Wicca, witchcraft, and then moved into like really just kind of left the esoteric behind and moved on. And then I guess it was just about 2 years ago I started like falling into like astrology and paying attention to people's sun signs and my friends' sun signs, and I realized I was surrounded by either Taurus or Sagittarius, and that sparked my interest, and it just led from there. And then about a year ago I started pay attention to this like community. Of course, Alyssa Sharp and Crystal Lynn were the first few people I really started to like pay attention to and got me into like wanting to make my own videos and put my own perspective out there. So yeah, that's basically how it started. And then I look back and it seems like everything kind of culminated perfectly, and everything I'm interested in, I already have uh, some backstory there, and it all kind of just led to this point.
Cool beans. That's what's up. So for people who are new to your channel, what kind of information do you share? And also, what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Virgo with a Cancer ascendant and a Leo moon.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
what can you find at my page? My whole thing is I feel like I'm on my own journey trying to discover astrology and discover how we can implement it, because I kind of feel like we spend a lot of time learning and almost bickering about what means what and what's going on with this and what's going on with that. And I kind of feel like we're getting to a point as a society where, or as a community, where we're growing and there's a lot of people who are being newly introduced, but there's a ton of people who are just novice at this point. And it's like we're going to that transition where you're becoming more of an expert and you're getting your own theories on how to use astrology. And I kind of feel like I want to put things out there so we can learn how to use it in different ways. Like, let's implement this. Let's stop bickering about what it all means and start looking at how can we use it. So I try to go through all these different aspects and different ways of looking at astrology and getting people to get their own perspective, able to use it in a way that's practical.
That's cool. That's cool. How did you like that Jupiter and Cancer transit? And how do you feel about being a Cancer rising? My best friend is a Aquarius with the Cancer rising. It's
That's
pretty interesting rising stuff.
um I kind of like it. My moon's in the first house, so it kind of like messes with it a little bit since my moon's in Leo. Um, but I mean, I feel like it's something that comes in handy because I have a tendency to sort of get people acquainted to me easily. I definitely know that feeling of like I make people feel at home or like I make people feel very comfortable around me. The only problem is that I just tend to I get a backlash a lot where people just kind of like want to challenge me constantly or feel like they can walk all over me. And it's in like all that Leo has to come out and like constantly. It's kind of like that constant struggle to be authentic without having to deal with having that be seen as weakness. I would say that's really the only downside to having a Cancer ascendant.
Would you say you're more receptive to emotions and vibes? More so, like, how does your like the vibes you receive? Like, how does that sextile work out for you?
Um, I feel like it's just like a radar. Like I'm always going to be able to tell what you're interested in, what's going on with your emotions while I'm in front of you.
Wow.
When it comes, yeah, like I'm always going to know like what you're thinking. How do you feel about me? How do you feel about the situation? Like I always just know how you feel. I might not know where it's coming from or why, but I always know how you feel. Like I have a tendency to just kind of like call people out on stuff. The biggest thing I
Nice.
see the receptivity being used is with the moon itself when it transits. Um, like every sign that the moon goes into, I feel it. I feel it immediately, and it's kind of like a physical thing. It affects me physically. And then with my moon being in Leo, it's kind of like I can kind of take that energy and act with it. I can play with it. Like when the moon's in Taurus, I can pretend I'm a Taurus. When the moon's in Gemini, I can pretend I'm a Gemini, and I will represent that energy. I can trick people into thinking that I am whatever, wherever the moon is. I can be that and sort of bring that energy out and act like that and utilize it. So I just feel like I constantly have tools changing at my disposal.
That's something I personally find very valuable. I do see Virgo as a state of being. I don't have Virgo energy, so I'm always obsessed with learning how to utilize these energies and use it. So I definitely will be staying tuned into your channel. I only have Gemini energy in mutable signs, so I'll know what things are, but once you get to how and why it's happening, I have to now like reach out to other people. So I really liked that Neptune through the houses series that you did as well. Where's your Neptune actually?
Thanks. My Neptune's in the sixth house in Capricorn.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Sagittarius rules my sixth house, so it's kind of mixed energy.
What is your
Um,
opinion? Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that's kind of like my whole point, like the whole idea of discussing these energies so we can see how we can personally utilize them. So I'm definitely psyched for you for you doing that.
Definitely. I'm really interested on your take on like when you have planets in a house that's marked by a different sign cusp. How do those energies relate? Like your Neptune. So you have a Neptune in Capricorn, but is it going to be governed in a Sag way, or do they fight, or how does that really work?
I feel like because my Neptune is conjunct Uranus as well, and my North Node in the sixth house, I feel that it's sort of it's a balance where normally I feel like I could get away with having things completely scattered to the wind and being random about how I do my work. But then there's always a balance where it comes to where it's I'm not going to get things done without putting on like my Capricorn hat and getting a schedule down and doing what I need to do, or else I will have constant disturbances through Uranus, or I will be lost and confused with because of that Neptune. Like I need to nail things down. So it seems like it's just more or less balance and forcing myself to buy both of these energies and find a balance between them. Most of my chart is kind of like that with my moon and Cryon in Cancer's house, but they're in Leo. My Saturn's in Aquarius, but it's in my seventh house with Capricorn. And my Mars is in Libra, but it's in the third house with Virgo. So it
Okay.
seems like it's just very much just combine these things.
Nice. What do you feel also? I'm really interested in how do you feel Jupiter and Leo is affecting your moon? And what message do you have for the Virgos out there really releasing a lot of this energy? Because I know it's hitting on your 12th house. How is it different from, say, the Jupiter and Cancer transit?
Um, with Jupiter, I kind of honestly with Jupiter, I didn't really feel it. Like I kind of felt like with that Jupiter transit, like it didn't. I never really felt like it affected me. I knew it was happening, but like I definitely felt when Jupiter went into Leo. That's it
Oh,
became my Jupiter return, and
oh, nice.
yeah, I have like 5 planets in Leo, and
That's awesome.
it just it. I feel like with the Jupiter and Leo, it for me personally, when it comes to my moon, I feel like it's more of an optimism. It's more of it's easier for me to feel proud of myself and what I'm doing and who I am. And it's this idea of opportunity kind of always being there, but now it's up to me to put the fire under my own ass and do something about it. So like the more I talk about stuff, the more that I kind of everything I want. Feel like it's teaching me to just
I'm sorry. Kind of froze there. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Got you back.
all right. Did you
Um,
hear me?
I missed the very last part you said. I remember you mentioned. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, the last thing I heard was about you saying you, the more you talk and speak out, the more, and then it kind of cut off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the more that I kind of speak of what I want when I say things out loud, it seems like it's starting to manifest. And it just seems like it's more or less it's time for me to do something about it. And the opportunities are presenting themselves. It's a return. It's my Jupiter return. So the opportunities are there, but now it's time for me to do something about it.
Nice.
And then to make the most out of everything and kind of put my best foot forward and, you know, act like I got 5 planets in Leo and go take these things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I guess with the Virgos, it's kind of hard because the only thing I have in Virgo is the sun, and I kind of feel like it gets a little overshadowed by all that Leo and even more Capricorn that I have. I guess the best thing I could say is just really stick to it and don't mind being like somebody calls you an asshole or a bitch or whatever. Just be forceful, and don't resign from your position. And if you feel strongly about something, you thought it out. There's no way you didn't think it out. So be able to communicate the way that you know you can. And when somebody challenges you, don't second guess yourself. It's time to support your arguments, follow through on your arguments, and make sure that people hear you when you have something to say. And don't change, don't go back on it, don't make it anything it's not. Because it is what it is, and Virgos know that.
It definitely is what it is. That's one of my favorite sayings. And I really like that you brought up the standing up for yourself and not second guessing yourself, because that's very easy to do now. I respect Virgo, because whereas Gemini will just speak a truth, Virgo will take the extra step and back up their claims and research and just like really have that much more confidence moving forward. Do you feel like Saturn and Sagittarius has a lot to do with not second guessing yourself too, as far as, you know, standing for what you believe?
You said serious?
Saturn and Sagittarius.
Oh, Saturn and Sagittarius.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an empowering energy, but I do feel like it's somewhat faulty, where people are kind of getting like gassed up with this Sagittarius energy. But I feel like people have to remember that it is Saturn. This is still Saturn. These are less gassed up. You can fail. It's time for you to go out there and lose, because Sagittarius is not about winning every scrimmage. Sagittarius is about winning the big game at the end. So you need to go out there and make your mistakes and learn what you need to perfect in the first place. That's what it's there for. So of course you're gonna have the optimism and the energy, but that energy is there to be scrappy. It's there to go out there and start losing, start making mistakes, start doing what you need to do, and taking the risks to find out where you are and what you need to do to improve. And I feel like once you're able to do that and put yourself out there, Saturn is going to reward you in the end, but you're gonna
I could totally resonate with that. I have it transiting my 7th house right now. So it's really detailing how much I need to go out there and relate with others, because I do have a first house sun and I could be very self-absorbed. And I really love how you said, you know, make the mistakes. That's one thing that I'm learning to do when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships. Like, okay to not know whatever house this will affect you. And too, for you watching, like, it's okay to not know. I'm pretty sure the mistakes I'll make by relating will help me. And then, like you said as well, you know, not giving up too early, because Saturn does like, you know, the end result. I really do resonate with that. How do you think this transit is going to affect the Pluto in Sagittarius generation? I know when Saturn triggered my Pluto, I left El Paso for the first time, ended up in Kansas. It was in my 6th house. So my lifestyle and poor behavior choices led to this. And then I ended up in California and started living my truth. So how is this going to really affect this new generation?
I feel like it's going to be something that's going to be targeting insecurities and facing your insecurities and facing what it means to not be enough. Because I kind of feel like that's what Sagittarius' real fears are. Because really, at the end of the day, there's no sign that's really more insecure than Sagittarius, and there's no sign that's going to hate on you like a Sagittarius. They're loving people, but we all know them. We all know how they are. So it's like, if you see that combination of...
Oh, there we go. Do a momentary dance while we get it back.
All right.
Oh, he's back. He's back. All right.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, like I was saying, like Sagittarius, it's the sort of energy where I feel like it's going to be targeting that, and I feel like it's going to be true empowerment, where Sag is going to learn the lesson. This generation is going to learn those real Sagittarius lessons, where it's like, it's not about if you win or lose. It's not about if you're cool or if you're not cool. It's not about if you're popular or if you're a loser. The whole point is that you learned what you wanted to learn, and you did what you wanted to do, and you had fun doing it. And you're going to be old, and you're going to be happy, no matter what happened, because you know that you did what you wanted to do. You did the most that you could do, and you perfected yourself as an individual, and you fit in with whomever fit in with you. You know what I mean? Instead of it being like a pressure that Sagittarius can kind of fall under, that pressure from the outside, when it shouldn't be that way. So I feel like those demons are going to come out with that, and they're going to be able to deal with that.
Oh, demons for sure. I totally resonate with that. And I like how you said the outside pressure, because they are next to Capricorn and they are next to Scorpio. So there is that pressure for success. And then just, I think it's that Scorpio 12th house that makes them so insecure. They know how to mask it very well with a smile and a laugh. But yeah, I totally feel you on that. It's very interesting. I'm really sensing with this Uranus and Aries transit a stronger ability for people to not only be themselves, but just really, like, you know, it's almost as if passing into the master degrees, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, you know, you could meet a homeless bum on the street who could school you on physics and chemistry. And I kind of see that more as the electric energy. Maybe this person didn't even know it or study it, but, you know, that electricity is just kicking in. But more so with this Uranus and Aries transit, how do you feel that, like, how does it relate with Neptune and Pisces? Because I like to see Neptune having a 12th house effect on Uranus, and then Uranus having a 2nd house effect on Neptune. So how does that eccentrically manifest our spiritual intuitions?
I feel like, firstly, the way that I see Uranus, I kind of see Uranus as, in a sense, a bully, because I kind of feel like necessity is the mother of invention, and Uranus is the mother of innovation. So for us to innovate, there needs to be something that's challenging us, or else we won't have any pressure to do better. I kind of feel like if
True that.
we were kids in like preschool trying to build a building with blocks or something like that, Uranus is that kid that keeps coming over and knocking them over. So either you're going to cry about it, or you're going to build one that's harder to knock over. And I kind of feel like that's that chaos that Uranus brings, where he's going to come through and knock your blocks over. He's going to come through and create a sort of life for you to figure out what needs to be built better. So if he comes back, it won't be as devastating, that innovation. And for him to be in Aries, I feel like it's challenging our self-identity. And for Neptune to be in Pisces, we're willing to change it. We're willing to view ourselves in many different mirrors and many different lights and see exactly who we are and decide who we want to be. And I feel like Uranus is just kind of like innovate yourself, innovate the human consciousness in itself by looking at those. Because from the second house, he's attacking values. And from the 12th house, Neptune is affecting our subconscious. So these things that we're afraid of, these things that we're afraid of losing, these things that we cling to, that we value, are going to be challenged. They're going to be knocked over, and we have to innovate our values. Now we have the choice between what do we want to be afraid of and what do we want to be proud of? Who am I? That question is sort of becoming, who are we? Who am I within us? It's becoming a sort of question that's resonating on many different levels, where it's not just who am I, it's who am I, who are we, what is humanity? It's starting to become this bigger thing because Uranus keeps attacking in these different ways, and we need to innovate how we see ourselves and what we value as people, because our subconscious is kind of clinging to that with Neptune. You know what I mean? I hope that came out like it made sense. I kind of feel like
No, it did. It made total sense. Total sense. I've always said personally that Aquarius is the biggest bully of the zodiac, and you mentioning that about Uranus makes a lot more sense as you know around that. But that's a great analogy too, like the innovation and you know making sure you come back stronger. And I know Aries is all about that fierceness. I'm totally this. Our generation alone is just revolutionizing sex culture, and it's just changing relationships forever. People are more so now than before, like fed up with not necessarily infidelity, but just this lack of honesty that we carry on when it comes to dating, when it comes to sharing your heart. And I feel it's because of the internet that is just being able to put these behaviors on blast. So where do you see dating going? As simple as dating, just this interpersonal relationship with people sharing love, polygamy, homosexuality. Where do you see all of this? But not even so much the labels we place, just the interpersonal interaction. How is that going to revolutionize and influence the way we relate with others and share feelings?
I sort of feel like, honestly, when we look at relationships and how we are going to relate, I think we can, like you mentioned before, look to Virgo. One of my favorite placements is Venus in Virgo. I kind of feel like
it gets a bad rap.
We're moving to a time where,
Venus and Virgo gets such a bad rap. Like they say it's debilitated there, but I think it's perfect there too. Like literally,
I think
it's my fifth house, so I'm biased to it.
Yeah, I think Venus is brilliant there, because it's the one placement where Venus is going to deal with it. Venus is going to deal with these changes. It's going to be strong with that earthly impression from Virgo, and it's also going to be changeable enough to do something about it. And I kind of feel like when we look to those people, when we look to their outlooks on life, you can kind of see, just be practical about it. Don't lose your head and all these emotional things about how do I feel about all these things happening. At this point, when it comes to technology and how things are happening and how we relate, it doesn't really matter how we feel. Things are kind of set the way that they're set, and they're going to happen the way that they're going to happen. So now it's time for us to decide, what are we going to do about it? Stop, like, sort of take it out of this submissive sort of victimizing language and turn it into something where it's all right, let's innovate, let's change it, and let's remember that our heads are here. and that we have the control to decide how we're going to relate. And in that question of how are we going to relate, I feel like it's up to us. We have to decide how we're going to relate. I say I'm going to relate by letting go of these emotional ties to labels, to how I label certain things, and how I feel about what a relationship is, and how do I feel about what my boyfriend's going to be to me, and what somebody else's girlfriend's going to be to them, and what's going to be happening within that whole criteria of labels and preconceived notions, where it's sort of like I keep hearing the end of history, where it's sort of like now it's time to take those old ideas, and when you're dreaming of something like, oh, I wish the world could be like that, Neptune is in Pisces. It's not a dream anymore. Make it happen. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be a dream. So I feel like whatever way you want to relate to what's going on with all this technology and how we relate to each other, you be that change, and that's what it will be.
Yeah, I totally feel about being the change. That's what I appreciate the most about being a mutable sign. We don't have the fixedness of the fixed signs, and we don't get stuck in a rut of just feeling like we have to do. It's we're able to combine both and just be in that moment, and let go of so much. I have Taurus in the 12th house, so it's a huge theme as far as letting go. And one thing I noticed that we have in common is we have like our sun in the mutables, but then we have so much energy in the 12th house, and then the Capricorn. It's almost as if we're more of that sign in a way. But what do you feel? This is gonna get a little bit more into just what I'm intuiting, but I feel like Virgos and Scorpios are having to really watch themselves around Libra individuals. I don't know if you've personally experienced this, but I totally see it's almost as if Libra is going through a tug of war, whether to go to the dark, deep into Scorpio, or really come into this purity that is Virgo, and learn to balance the two. I think Libra, out of all the cardinals, is the closest to just becoming like Libra to me right now is Anakin Skywalker right before he turns into Darth Vader. And it can be very troubling because this is such an important sign. What message do you have to Libras out there who are going through this, if you're aware of it?
I honestly, I can't say I'm being submerged in that. I can't say that I'm seeing it really relatively play out that way. Mm-hmm. I'm not really around that many Libras. I have like one main Libra friend around me right now, who I'm kind of like seeing go through her own stuff. And I mean, Gemini ascendant, Gemini moon, it seems like it's a little different for her. But I guess I can say with Libra,
what about more on the archetypal energy too?
More archetypally.
Look, you can continue what you were.
Oh no, it's cool. It's whatever.
For sure.
With the archetypal Libra, I kind of feel like they play a mask in a way. When you see these systems archetypally, when you see the systems that Virgo created and perfected to keep life, to keep sustaining life, Libra is anything, absolutely anything like that going, and to keep it running, keep those systems that Virgo created running. And when those things finally start to break down and the truth finally starts to come out, and there's so many secrets and there's so much crap, then you end up with Scorpio, the sign that now has to deal with it. And then all the devastation's over. You move into Sagittarius, and then you find Capricorn that has to deal with that. And I kind of feel like, in a way, Libra needs to either decide to regress or transform themselves forward. Sometimes negativity is needed. Sometimes there's just balance that needs to happen. So if Libra, in my eyes, are going to evolve, then you need to go to that dark side of Scorpio because you've been lying for too long. You've been trying to keep things happy for too long. And Virgo's going to do the same thing because we're too stoic. We're not going to admit when things are going bad. So if you feel like, if you're a Libra and you feel like this energy is pulling you in a direction to be more real, to be more maybe negative, or to be more truthful in a way that people might not appreciate, then go for that. And the energy is meant to go in that direction. Things need to change. The transformation needs to happen, and that transformation is going to be in Scorpio.
Indeed, I totally feel that. It's almost as if like the universe just somehow knew, because like you said, Libra has to make a decision, but Libra is just like eternally indecisive. It's almost as if the universe was like, let's just give all the decisions to Libra, and they're not going to choose, so it'll just give us forever. Some evil Aquarius probably crafted that. But let me get out of this like fantasy land right now. Let's play the 3 questions game. This amazingly super revolutionary game that I play every episode. We're gonna take turns asking each other 3 questions. You can start first. You ask me the question, I'll answer it, and then I'll ask you a question, you answer, and you ask me a question, and then we get 3 each.
All right. I guess my first question would be like, I'm obsessed with that series you came up with, the Know Your Role series.
Yeah.
So I guess like specifically, I would want to know, how long did it take you to get to that mindset to be able to create that whole system, or be able to recognize that system that you talk about? And yeah, I guess, yeah, how long did it take you, and what inspired you to do it and put it out there?
Great question. Well, I definitely was. I think it happened during my Jupiter return. It was the craziest summer ever. Once Jupiter went into Cancer, my sister has her son on my Jupiter. So she's like my youngest sister, but true to Jupiter, she's like she feels like my older sister who's on some guru stuff. When Jupiter came into Cancer, she came that summer from DC when she had a summer break from school, and she started teaching me about astrology. Apparently the information that I had gathered, she had learned, and then came up with her own thoughts on, and was teaching me about receptivity, which was Jupiter speaking to her through her to teach me about not being so dumb and masculine, but taking advantage of my receptive energy and Capricorn, Taurus, and all that. And so during that summer, we really talked a lot about astrology. I would say she inspired a lot of what I know. One day we were talking about what all the signs would be if they were had certain casting positions, and we both came up with that list together. And then I think a week or 2 later, I decided to make the series out of it. True to like the Aquarius energy, it just kind of randomly came up. And yeah, it's just been really fun to see how it all pieces together. I remember at first I was a little skeptical about it. I thought it was a little bit outside the tangent. And then this one Taurus came and was like, yeah, I've been watching your videos, man. And I like how you talked about Taurus being the producer. And I started to see how I really do produce stuff around me and whatnot. So that really just gave me the conviction to move forward with that. I really want to make this first season to be more informative. I actually want to get more creative with it and like make a mini movie series. So the first season is just to educate people about the terminology and whatnot. And I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're into that. My question for you is, well, I'll do the one I usually ask. What three zodiac signs are the most fun for you? You know, are really positive, and then which 3 zodiac signs give you the most challenge? Not necessarily like you dislike them, but they challenge you the most.
All right. I guess the 3 that would be the easiest would be Sagittarius. I kind of love that. I'm kind of constantly around them. They're always there. They're kind of like my party friends. I have a lot of fire in my chart, and they seem to be the only sign that can really like keep up with it. and even run me down. So I can finally, like, you know what I mean? Dissipate all that energy. Um, what other big? I guess Cancer. I finally grown to like Cancer, and really like the humor in them and the humility and just the wisdom that gets so easily passed by. Starting to feel like I can resonate with that, and it's fun to explore it. And lastly, I guess it would be, what would it be lastly? I guess I have to be Gemini. Like honestly,
Yay.
they're the most they're the most fun for me. Like again, they can kind of keep up with me. Like I have like Mercury and Leo, all these things, and it's just like Gemini. I have no problem keeping up. Gemini and Sagittarius, so that's usually like the most fun for me. Um, Challenging, definitely Pisces, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I just know those right off the bat.
Wait, could you repeat that?
Pisces, Scorpio, and Aquarius.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
How was Pisces challenging for you?
I feel like with this new change, I'm starting to see how much Pisces is capable of and how much they don't understand it. Like they kind of need to be empowered. If they don't get that, then they think that it must not be real. And then it's then like being crutches and like I feel like it's from the fact that the way that my ego is set up, and it's a very strong ego, and it's set up on Virgo. It's just like confidence through materials. What do I do? How do I do it? And how much do I succeed? Where theirs, it seems like it's so debased. Like I don't understand where they're coming from when they need these things to help them feel like they're alive. They need to feel like they're here and that they're present and that they're doing something. The fact that they really feel like they need things from the outside world, like that need, that Pisces, that crush, it drives me crazy. Um, yeah, and just like the victim card, it's just be a victim, and it's like, but you don't understand your power. Like especially in this time, it's like, how do you not understand your power?
Yeah, that pisses me off. I literally made a rant about, how I really hate Pisces. I don't really hate Pisces, but I made a rant detailing what you said. Like, more so, I didn't see it that they don't know their power, but more so that they just don't use it. And then they complain about what happens when they don't use it. So it's like, oh, yeah. What
Yeah,
about the other signs?
um,
I'm sorry, what was that?
Scorpio and Aquarius you're talking about?
Yeah.
All right. Aquarius, I just don't get them. I have a lot of Leo energy, so it just kind of just seems like I just don't understand them. It seems like, I don't know, like they do things for no reason, but it's never for no reason. But it just kind of seems like, all right, I don't get you, and I'm getting like annoyed trying to get you. So it's like, come to me when you're ready to be on my level, and we can just pretend I'm behind you or below you, whatever makes you feel better. With Scorpio, I just kind of feel like I guess because I have Scorpio in my fifth house and then such strong Leo energy, I don't find them intimidating. I don't find them mysterious. To me, honestly, the first way I can pick out a Scorpio was the one who's trying too hard. I feel like they project things, and it's like they understand that force, and it kind of seems like they understand that power that they wield, and it's just like, eh, am I back on?
Yes, sir.
It's horrible.
It's all good.
But yeah, I just kind of feel like it's a bit of an act, and it's Scorpio should be a little bit more authentic, and I feel like they waste a lot of time trying to create something that's not there, and it's just kind of like, why are you so vulnerable? Why are you afraid of your own vulnerability? I kind of feel like Scorpio is the sign that's there to take damage. You're there to survive. You're there to deal with these things. So to waste your time trying to project all these images to try to protect yourself when you're ultimately going to be attacked either way, you might as well embrace it. Embrace your faults, embrace all of it, and go into it being the force of change and transformation that you can be in the most enlightened way possible. And I just kind of feel like they spend a lot of time wasting energy on games when life isn't a chess game, even though they see it that way.
Aquarius or Scorpio?
Score both of them, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, and I can understand as a mutable sign that stubbornness, it could, oh my gosh. But what I'll do for Aquarius is when they want something from me, I'll be like, beat me in a chess game, then we'll do it. It's like chess pieces so much. It's like, yeah. All right. So far that's one question each.
All right. How you what would be like your perfect girl planets? Like, how would you build up your perfect relationship? Perfect
Oh, okay. Well, I have Venus and Taurus conjunct my psyche, and Eros and Vesta, and then it's opposite Pluto and Scorpio and Juno and Scorpio, and then I have my moon on Saturn and Neptune and Uranus and Capricorn. So I've really noticed, especially after this Jupiter and Cancer in my second house transit that let me know what I really want. Um, I've been really attracted to Capricorn ladies, even Virgo. A lot of that Earth energy really attracts me, especially Virgo actually, because that seems to be like I don't have to work as hard. Capricorn kind of make me as a Gemini work that hard because of that eighth house influence. And then I always underestimate Taurus. But my perfect relationship is with somebody who is smarter than me, not more intelligent, but because I have this Gemini mind and Capricorn moon, it's really hard to stabilize both energies. So I would really appreciate an intuitive soul who can help balance me out emotionally with fire, but is still grounded enough to join together and bounce back ideas back and forth so we could do a lot of creative projects together. Because I have all this earth, I really like relationships to revolve around practical projects, a working relationship. I'm the kind of person that wants to have a business with a partner that I'd eventually marry, so it could be a family business. So I'm glad you asked that though. But yeah, that's the kind of lady I'm more or less looking for. Somebody who isn't afraid to go out and be her own person, yet at the same time have that receptive quality and kind of balance out the elements that I'm lacking in my life, and could and it's smart enough to deal with my mischievous Gemini mind, because my mind could be just like sinister. But there's certain people like Libra women know how, Aquarius women know how, and Earth sign women know how. Water sign women hate it. They can't deal with it. And fire sign women don't care. We just have fun together. So it's kind of interesting that way. But yeah, I'm glad you asked that though. It definitely, it's relevant to me because I was literally talking about this like before the call. So
Yeah.
take that as a what is your favorite system of divination and why?
I don't know. Like, all right, explain that question because I don't want to answer it the wrong way.
No, it's all good. Divination as far, do you read tarot or do you just read astrology? Because I know you talked about being into witchcraft and Wicca, so I meant more.
Yeah, that was more elemental magic, the sort of stuff that I was into there. Yeah, so it was like I kind of focused on 12th house, 6th house, 9th house things, and that will tell you what sort of elements you work well with to manifest things, um, and to get things going. I guess honestly, my favorite type of divination would be astrology. I kind of feel like it's a good mix for me because I'm it's more or less using it as a tool because I pay attention a lot to my North Node, and I have it in Capricorn in the 6th house. So I always try to
Mm.
sort of find a way to ground whatever I'm doing in reality and make it something I can use every day, or else I feel like I'm going to be lingering in that South Node sort of area where it's just like I'm basing everything, like, you know what I mean? 12th house Cancer, it's like everything's going to be intuition. That I feel like Wicca can easily fit into that, where it's just kind of like manipulating elements and using intention, and it's very watery. And I kind of feel like I need to move on from that. Like I got brought here this time to utilize, to take things like that and make it something like a tool. And I kind of feel like astrology is the best way for me to do that. So I kind of feel like astrology is my divination. It's what I'm most comfortable with. It's what I'm most interested in.
And a sub question to that: what's your favorite element? Since you do have knowledge and experience with elements.
My favorite element, I guess it would have to be fire. I think it would really
Nice.
have to be fire because you can't lie with fire. You really can't be fooled. It's a type of feeling where water can trick you with feelings. Fire can't necessarily trick you. It's either gonna resonate with you or it's gonna intimidate you. But if you're not scared, you have just as much fire as they're bringing to the table, and just lead with your heart.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more of an
I'm a
honesty
big.
factor.
Yeah, I just love the rawness of fire too. I love Aries for that. Like, um,
Mm,
they'll. It's not like a Cancer where they'll care about what you're going through, but just the honesty they'll always give you, to
yeah.
set you right back on the right path. Just not even, like I said, not even out of care for you, but just because that's who they are. Like they will always keep it real, usually, unless they don't.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of hate about the whole Cancer placement with this. And I really do care, and it pisses me off how much I'm like I'll hate you, but you come and tell me like somebody in your family died. I'll immediately care, but I'll have to like rein it in. But it's just like I hate that whole that whole idea of how fucking supportive that I am, whether I
Yeah,
like it or not.
yeah,
Um, it's my turn to ask a question, right?
yes, sir.
All right, I guess this one will be pretty simple. I heard it somewhere else, and I feel like it tells a lot about somebody. What was your worst Halloween costume?
Oh, that's very interesting. You know what? Growing up as a Christian, my mother didn't let us watch TV, not more so out of Christianity, but she didn't let us do Halloween. So I didn't
Uh,
really ever, yeah, I didn't really ever celebrate it. I celebrated it my freshman year of college when I was out the house and started doing like so much drugs and was a free wild child. And it's crazy too because I didn't even choose that Halloween costume. I had a majority of the people I hung around were Jewish and Caucasian, so they were like, "Hey, Mike, do you want to be Token from South Park for Halloween? So you are Token Black dude." So yeah, that happened. Um, I
that's
think that was
hilarious.
like the only. Yeah, I think that was like the only Halloween I ever dressed up for. And then there was this one Halloween that I dressed up as Chuck something. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember. But it was from the Chappelle show when he put on the white face mask and he was like a white reporter, but you could see, it was still Dave Chappelle
Oh,
under it. And
yeah.
and the only thing that I hate about that was that I didn't really do it that well, but I didn't go out. So I guess we could
Oh,
say that because I never really got to show the world my white face. But yeah, that was a good question though. Um, I honestly want the next time I do Halloween, I'm gonna do that again with the justice and like do it right and get the right face paint and whatnot. But
word.
yeah, my final question for you is, if you had to choose one sign to marry and spend the rest of your life with, or not even marry, but just to partner with, but in a romantic, sexually passionate context, what sign would that be?
Libra. Yeah, definitely Libra.
That's very interesting too, because I posted on my page the affinities that each sign has, and I said Aries was with Pisces, Taurus was with Aquarius, and then Virgo was with Libra. I feel like that's one of the strongest affinities too, because Virgo is so necessary for Libra. Like, they need y'all so much. They can just get caught up in so much BS. I feel like you just snap them back to let go of unnecessary stuff and to just be in the moment and to be more kind too.
Yeah, and I feel like I like the fact that they have that balance like Gemini does, where you're getting two of something, but where Gemini 2 can turn into 3, 4, like 5, like, you know what I mean? Where Libra one or the other, and I kind of like that idea of like I can get that from them. I get an air of stability because I know it's going to be between these two things, and I also get an air of randomness because I know between those two things I'm going to have to choose between one of them. I know they're going to go to one extreme or the other until they're balanced. So I kind of like the mix of stability and instability there.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Well, appreciate you coming on the show. I definitely enjoyed this interview. I have your no problem, brother. I have your description link in the to your channel. So I have the link to your channel in the description box below. So you can subscribe to his channel for those watching. To leave off before we end, do you have any products or services that people can gain from you, and how can they reach
you? Thanks. Recorded readings, and I do live readings. I do written readings. Those are for free. But they're getting popular. They're gaining popularity, so it's getting harder and harder to keep up with them on the weekly basis like I do pre-recorded or live readings. You can reach me at my blog. Everything is CancVirgo, Twitter, Facebook. My blog is CancVirgo, Astrology, WordPress. And that's basically it. Just check me out. And everything's kind of right there and pretty upfront with all my information. And you can always shoot me an email. I'm always happy to talk to people and debate. I have an Aries midheaven, so in Mars and Libra, I love to argue. So if you have strong ideas, I want to challenge them.
Awesome. Super awesome. All right. Well, until next time, I'll see you next episode, and peace.